Very good afternoon, everybody.
Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
sir.
Good afternoon, Sweta. So, Sweta, I'm seeing very few people today.
Sir, they're joining.
Okay. No problem.
Because of rain, many students are joining now. I think 1 or 2 they have joined.
Yes. I'll just wait for a few more minutes.
Okay, sir.
Yeah, I'm seeing people are joining, so we will wait for a few more minutes.
Okay, sir.
Hello, Sweta ma'am. Maybe if you can just check with the coordinator in college.
I spoke to principal, sir. I sent a message also. They are joining now. We'll wait for 1 or 2 minutes, sir. Then we can start.
Sure, ma'am. So hello students. So how is the weather in Bangalore? So are you liking this weather?
It's very worst, sir.
Yeah, it's
It's
raining.
raining heavily.
Yes. And due to rain, it is a little bit cold also. So take care of your health. So let me know when you want me to start. I will wait for some more time. So hello everybody. So very good afternoon. Then let us start the session. So others who are interested can join as and when they're able to join. So if you can switch on your camera, that will be great. Right. So let me switch on my camera. You can see me, and if you can switch on your camera, that will be great. So today in the session, I'm going to talk about regarding the GDP and how some of you have asked. And let me just share my screen and let me switch off my video so that there is no bandwidth issue. So let me share my screen and please let me know once you're able to see my screen. So students, tell me what you understand by GDP. Anybody volunteer to answer the question? What do you understand by GDP? So gross domestic product is the total value of goods and services produced by a country economy during a specific period. It also measures the income earned from production or amount spent on final goods and services, less imports. So that is the definition. Just to give you an example, what is a GDP? For the one of the most important thing for a GDP is the geographical boundary. Now, if anybody produced in Bangladesh, that will be not accounted for the part of the GDP for India. Why I'm talking about the GDP? Because as you know, you being the student, currently, can you tell me what is the rank for India in the global GDP? Hello, students. Hello.
Sir, 114th.
Any other want to volunteer?
5.
So 5th.
Very good. Answer is absolutely correct. We are 5th, and by 2030, we are going to be taking over Germany and also Japan. That is the plan. So maybe we will be ranked number 30. It's number 3rd in the coming years, right? So I will show you. That is one of the reason. If you know, our Honorable Prime Minister has also mentioned he want to grow the GDP to 5 trillion economy, right? And currently, the value for the GDP in India is around 3.5 trillion dollars. Now that is, and you are basically going to be the future, and it is all on your hands, like the youngsters, to grow the Indian GDP. The GDP is very, very critical because the growth of the country, right, and growth of the economy also depends upon the growth of the GDP. Because any foreign investors who are coming to invest in India also, or want to set up factories or services in India, they want to see an economy which is growing, right? And if they see an economy that is growing, then they will also invest in that economy. And invest in that economy means there will be a lot of scope for employment. And of course, nowadays, whatever you do, you require basically IT, right? The IT enablement has to be there. Now, another most important thing I just wanted to let you know, in case of GDP calculation, for example, if a person, for example, is going and earning in USA, will that earning for that person in USA be will be calculated part of Indian GDP? Hello, students.
No, sir.
Excellent. So that earning of that person will not be counted for the Indian GDP calculation. Now, if a company for Samsung, for example, set a factory in India and manufacture mobile phones, or if you see monitors, right, LED screens. Now, will the total revenue of Samsung company in India will be part of the Indian GDP? Yeah, answer me.
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now, For example, Air India, right? Now, now Tata's has taken over Air India. Now for Air India, if they have got a direct flight to India to San Francisco, right? Now, people who are buying these tickets for Air India, now, or somebody who purchases a ticket in San Francisco for the Air India tickets coming and back to India, will the revenue of Air India will be calculated part of the GDP for India, though the ticket sale is happening in San Francisco, for example?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir, it will be considered.
Because the company is incorporated in India, right? As per the Companies Act of India, isn't it? Now you understand basically how the GDP is basically calculated or known. Now that person, for example, who is in USA, right? For example, he is earning $200,000, out of which $25,000 he remitted to India, right? So will that remittance will be calculated as part of GDP?
Yes.
Very good. Now, similarly, if we have got exports, right? Now, for the export value of the exports will be calculated part of GDP, and you have got the imports, right? For example, to manufacture for a laptop. Now, if you want to manufacture a laptop, you need to maybe need the semiconductors you need to import. Those are the values, right? Need to be reduced from the overall GDP. So generally, if you see for a laptop manufacturing, right, you have got the for Intel, you have to have the semiconductors, maybe i-Core, i5, i7, whatever it is, right? Then you need to have a monitor. Then you have the keyboards, the keys, right? And you have got the Windows need to be installed. So when the computer is sold, right, it is not sold that 10,000 rupees for the semiconductors, 5,000 for the Windows, 5,000 for the screen, not like that, right? It is sold, for example, 50,000 rupees. So the total overall value of 50,000 rupees, that will be taken into consideration for the GDP. Understood? Similarly, if you purchase a house, maybe the house is when constructed, it has got cement, it has got steel, right? It has got bricks. Then inside that, if you purchase a flat, you will have all the for example, the basin. You will have the taps, the tube lights, fans. When you are sold that flat, if it is whatever the furniture, fixtures, whatever it is, the fixtures that are there, right? Not the furniture, the fixtures are the bricks and this thing, it is sold, and directly what is the final value, it will be taken into part of GDP, not basically the value that is there for the they will not sell you the flat without the bricks, right? Or the cement. So they will sell you the end product. So what is the end product value, that will be considered as the GDP calculation. I hope all of you understood. Is it? Any question? Hello,
No,
student. Very good. Now let us, I think, let me take you to the next. So GDP is the most common used measurement for economic activity of a country. Next, the highlights of GDP, right? The gross domestic product is the monetary value of all finished goods and services made within the country during a specific period. So during a specific period means within 1 year, right? Now you have seen there is sometimes a comparison is done with the last quarter, what is the GDP growth, or with the last year. Now, so a specific period for which the economic growth is there, that is basically the measurement, and it is compared with the last year or last quarter to quarter or year to year. That is basically the GDP growth is measured. So generally it is measured for a year. The GDP provides an economic snapshot of a country used to estimate the size of an economy and growth rate, right? So I'm saying the $3.5 trillion is for the year, the GDP. The GDP can be calculated in three ways. So what are the three ways? Expenditure, right? Using the expenditure, production, or incomes. Or it can be adjusted for inflation and population to provide deeper insights. So there is a real GDP that accounts the effects of inflation, while the nominal GDP does not, right? So if somebody says, I want to provide the real GDP, then it takes into account of the inflation, and whereas the nominal GDP does not. So this is also for your knowledge. If somebody wants to provide you the comparison, what is the real GDP, then one has to provide that also. So next is, there are some limitations. Some of the limitations are GDP is a key tool to provide guide to the policymakers or investors or businessmen in the strategic decision making. But if it is, for example, you don't account for some of the services. Can you tell me what are the services we don't account also in GDP? Hello, students.
Sir.
Pardon? What we do not account in GDP? Especially for the ladies. See, I respect the ladies, because generally if you see, the ladies work in the office or doing, but still they are also preparing food at home. But when they're preparing food at home, nobody pays any money to them, right? So we don't take the intrinsic value of the service they're providing. Or for managing the kids or anything, right? If it has been doing something for the others, they would have been charging money. So those are the activities, right, are not taken into account for the calculation of GDP, just for your example, because monetary wise, those are not calculated. Understood? Okay. Any question? Okay, let's move on to the next slide. So I think a lot of people are joining, so just wait. So measurement of GDP, right? So GDP can be measured in three ways. One is the output method, one is the expenditure method, another is the income method, right? So what is output method? This measurement, the monetary or the market value of all goods and services produced within the borders of the country. Now, for this, what do you mean by services? For example, if a person comes and repair your TV in the house, or fridge, or washing machine, they're providing some services, isn't it? So that services also need to be accounted. What is the value for the services? For example, IT professionals, they are not manufacturing anything. They are providing services or consulting. So their value is also, the amount of income they generate is also calculated part of the GDP. Understood? For an hotel, if you go, right, you buy food, the food at least you can consume. Now, for the waiter who's coming and providing and bringing those food to you, and you pay some tips, that is kind of service charges. Sometimes in the restaurant, you will find the bill includes service charges, sometimes it does not. Now, that is the person who brings the food to your table. He's doing some services, getting the food from the kitchen to your table. Otherwise, you have to go to the kitchen or where they're serving, and from there you have to pick and put it in your table and eat that food, right? So for the services, you are paying, and for And because of that, he's getting some income, right? And that also be part of the GDP. In order to avoid distorted measures of GDP due to the price level changes, GDP at constant prices to real GDP is computed. GDP as per the output method equal to real GDP. Now, you know what is real GDP and you know what is nominal GDP, right? Real GDP, GDP at constant prices minus taxes plus subsidies. So this is how from the output method it is calculated. So this is not the popular way of calculating GDP. Just for your information, you must also know that. Next is the expenditure method. This measures the total expenditure incurred by all the entities on goods and services within the domestic boundaries of a country. GDP as per this expenditure method equal to C plus I plus G plus X minus IM. Now, what does it mean? C equal to consumption expenditure, I equal to investment expenditure, G equal to government spending, X minus M is equal to export minus imports. And that means what is the you, me, everybody is spending the consumption, that is the consumption expenditure. Investment expenditure is that there is maybe huge expenditure for the roadway that is getting constructed, the government is spending, or basically a factory is getting set up. So that is an expenditure, right? Next is export. Now we are exporting, for example, the IT services, or if you know, a lot of clothes, jewelries, textile products, those are exported, or fruits or food grains, those are exported, minus what we are importing. For example, the computer chips we are importing, maybe we are importing some toys, or we are importing crude oil. So those are the minus. And that is how in this method, the GDP is calculated. Again, this is also not a popular method of calculating the GDP. So we come to the third method, which is the popular method of calculating the GDP for a country. What is the third method? Third method is it measures the total income earned by the factors of production, that is labor and capital, within the domestic boundaries of a country, right? And as per the income method, GDP, what is the formula of the GDP? Equal to GDP at factor cost plus taxes minus subsidies. So this is how, as per the income method, it is calculated. In India, the contribution to GDP are mainly divided into three broad sectors: agriculture and allied services. As you know, in India, agriculture plays a huge and important role, right? And huge part of Indian GDP comes from the agriculture. So just to let you know why this is very, very critical and important, right? Now, you have seen, for example, there are real food crises that are coming up. Now, for example, Russia and Ukraine war is going on. Now, more than 30% of the wheat export that comes are from Ukraine and from Russia. Now, you know, if you have traveled abroad, the people basically have food that is basically made of wheat mostly, the breads, right? Or if you want to have pizza also, the pizza base is nothing but made of wheat, right? So if the prices of the wheat goes up, it really affects them. And as you know, without food, people cannot also live. Now, India is started exporting a lot of fruits, food grains around the world, and that is also giving good amount of impetus to the farmers to earn more, and that is also increasing the Indian GDP. Isn't it, student? You will be alarmed to know that is huge amount of the production in India, right, go for waste. Now, you can actually develop a lot of things for the farmers in India, right, which can enable to conserve these foods for longer time and also help them to know where are the food grains they can store, or basically increase the productivity And you have, in the previous month, you have basically seen how using the AI, IoT, or machine learning, you can help increase the productivity. You can help them to in the irrigation, for example, the pesticides you can do, or the how you can use the water resources, better sprinkling you can do depending upon the soil condition and also the water content of the soil. So you can see there is a huge, enormous scope for all of you to work in that area also. Now you have seen there are a lot of free trade agreements is happening. We have got just recently a free trade agreement with Australia. We had happened, right? What is free trade agreement? Free trade agreement is that between the two countries, there won't be any taxes that will be charged, and it will be at a very, very favorable rate. Just to let you know, there is an agreement or Quad has been created. As you know, the Quad, we mostly see that India, USA, Japan, and Australia, that is the Quad, but there is another Quad that has been created where you can see that India, UAE, Israel, and USA, they formed a Quad. Now, based on that Quad, what is going to happen? Israel is going to provide the technology, UAE going to, and USA is going to invest, and India is going to produce, basically manufacture. Now, there already UAE has committed around $3 billion of investment in the food sector, right? So that India can increase the production and use the latest technology in the production also. Of course, as you know, Israel have got the cutting edge knowledge in the technology. So most of the research that is happening, you will find, are basically help of the Israeli companies, right? So of course, the number of people in Israel is very, very less, but the technology wise, they are very, very advanced. The sprinkler system in India, if you know, the deep irrigation technology, that is nothing but the gift of the Israel to India. So a lot of technology that is coming up. And of course, we need a market and investment. The money will come from UAE and USA. And that is how that has been planned. For example, you need to store, for example, perishable goods, the fruits or the tomatoes, right? It has got a shelf life, very, very less shelf life. Now, if you do not store it properly in a proper warehouse, maintain the temperature properly, right? Those fruits or the food grains or basically the crops which has got a shelf life will perish, right? It will be huge wastages there. If somebody goes to the Food Corporation of India, which purchases a huge quantity of crop, right, you will find almost 1/4 to 1/3 of that is rotten and is wasted because there is no proper way of monitoring and controlling those crops. So ultimately, the poor farmers working so hard in the field to grow those crops, and all is getting rotten. Or you will find whenever is the bumper crop happening, the farmers not able to sell, they are basically burning their crop fields or basically destroying the crops, because taking those crops to the cities or transporting it to the market, it may be the more cost they need to incur, right? So in those worst scenario, right, if you have got a proper investment, the technology to conserve them, right, then it will actually help the poor farmers to earn more money. So you can understand why you need to know the importance of the IT into the agriculture also. Next is basically industry and services sector, where also you can see huge investment is happening. India has already announced a lot of PLI scheme, and based on the PLI scheme, a lot of companies are coming and investment is happening. Now you will be getting astonished that, for example, the chip manufacturing, India has already budgeted a huge, more than 80,000 crores of benefit to the manufacturer who want to manufacture chip in India. Similarly, in other sectors also, there are multiple schemes going on where the investors who want to invest in India can take this benefit and basically set up the manufacturing base. And there are also people to loans are given at very, very cheap rate so that they can invest and the growth for the economy can be done. And of course, the service sector, we all know we are into IT professionals. And if you services you provided to any Indian company, or if you're providing to the companies outside India and where there is a huge export is happening for Indian services, and all those revenue that is getting generated will be part of the Indian GDP. Right? Any question till now? So GDP is measured as the market prices, and the base year for computation is 2011 and 12, and GDP at market prices equal to GDP at factor cost plus indirect taxes minus subsidies. Any question? Students, any question?
No, sir.
Okay. Now, how the expenditure method of GDP is calculated. The formula for calculating GDP with expenditure approach is the following. The GDP equal to private consumption plus gross private investment plus government spending plus export minus imports. So as you can see, the more the export we do, right, more will be the GDP growth will be happening. Now, can you tell me a country which is basically an export surplus and their economy is based on the exports?
China.
Very good. So in case of China, the country has grown because of the exports, right? And that is one of the country you can see. That's why they are basically called the manufacturing base of the world. So from toys to cars, everything they are manufacturing and for the people around the world. And that is why the economy is going so high. If you see it in 1970s, you will find India and China, the economy was almost the same. But after that, the growth in China has been phenomenal. And currently, you will find the Chinese GDP growth is, or China's GDP is much, much higher than India, right? So one of the reasons for that is basically their exports. And India, we are facing a huge problem. That is basically we have to import a lot of crude oil, right? So what is happening? A lot of our forex is going in buying the crude oil, right? If we can find an alternative, if we can start renewable energy, and that is why the government is also pushing for the use of renewable energy, and also you will find the use of the hydrogen fuel or use of lithium batteries or now aluminum batteries or windmills or using the energy from the waves, right? Or solar energy or biofuel. So this is basically the push from the government to reduce the import of the crude oil. Now you have seen that if you read that government has already announced and giving some benefit to the sugar manufacturer or some producer of ethanol, so that ethanol can be mixed into the fuel. That if you go to the petrol pump, you will find they're mixing ethanol and petrol, ethanol or diesel. And at this moment, it is 10% of the overall what they're selling. Now they want government to increase it to 20%. In case of Brazil, of course, the percentage is very, very high. So they use higher percentage of ethanol into the biofuel. Now, another country you will find that is Finland. They have actually stopped using the basically the crude, basically the petroleum or diesel out of the fossil fuel, and they have started with the biofuel as the option for selling, running the cars in the whole country, right? So if you go to Finland, you won't find any fuel out of the fossil fuel. You will find all the fuel that is coming from the biofuel, right? So you can see in the global also energy, this is another problem. Now, GDP is usually calculated by National Statistical Agency of the country following the international standard. Now, this is what you understand. Now, coming to the, before going into the other part, I will just also show you, I was surprised to see a news, right? I will show you what I saw, and to my surprise, this is what is happening. Let me show you. 1 minute. I think I have got it here. Let me show you. Maybe I will show you this thing. Let me show you some other time. I need to find that article. Let me continue with this and then I will come and show you. Now, I hope all of you have understood from the expenditure method. Next is the income method of GDP calculation. According to the income approach, GDP can be computed by finding total national income. So you have to understand total national income is called TNI, and then adjusting it for sales tax, that is T, and depreciation, and net foreign factors income, that is F. Thus, we can use the following formula: GDP equal to TNI plus T plus D plus F, right? Now, below I provide an example also so that you can understand it much better. First, we have to find the total national income, that is TNI. The total national income is the sum of all income that a country, resident and business have earned over a certain period. This includes all salaries and wages, right? Rent plus interest and profits. Note, all these components are sometimes listed separately in the GDP formula, right? However, for the sake of simplicity, we can stick with the formula mentioned above. Now, I want to give you an example, right? Let us assume a country called Kayland, Kayland is a small country and have got maybe only 100 inhabitants, right? Together, they earn a total of 20 lakhs income in wages and salary, and 50 lakhs in rent, and 1,50,000 in interest payment. In addition to that, there are 10 companies located in this Kayland small country. Let us assume they make a profit of around 40 lakhs, plus they earn an additional 5 lakhs in rent and 3 lakhs 50,000 in interest, right? So what will be the total income for this Kayland? Can anybody tell me? Without seeing the figure, how you are going to calculate? You're going to calculate is what is the total people of that country is earning in wages and salary, plus rent income they're getting, plus the interest. So interest payment, what will have? The interest payments, right? They're earning. In addition, what is the profit the companies in that country is earning, plus what is the additional rent and also interest they're earning. And overall, if you calculate, it is coming to 75 lakhs, for example, in this. So just for your example, this is how a GDP of a country is included. Now, you can understand in India, there are so many companies, so many services that is getting served, right? So all those things need to be bundled up and we can get the income for the country. Any question? If you don't have a question, you can see this one. So as I was telling you, this is based on the nominal GDP in 2022. So India now ranks 5th with 3.5, and India is looking to overcome Germany and Japan by 2030. So that is where, if you plan to have the 5 trillion economy, so by 2030, that is the thing the India want to go into the 3rd place. So that is why this is very, very important and critical. Why you need to know about the GDP and how you can also participate into this growth of Indian GDP. Any question? Hello, students. And 2050, we expect to be the number 2 in the GDP. If the rate we are sustaining, we grow. After China, India can be the number 2 in the GDP also. Any question here? If you don't have any question, then I will take you to an example. Let me show you. Okay, so now you can see the real GDP growth, right? Now, if I go some of the countries, right, because you will find now in Africa, right? So, for example, Angola has got 2.9% growth GDP from last year. South Africa, 2.1%. If I go to Australia, it is 3.8%. If I go to China, China currently, the COVID restrictions, and they are facing a lot of internal turmoils, and with that, it is expected to be and grow at a rate of 3.2. Generally, it used to be double digit, then it higher single digit. Now it is 3.2. And of course, with the Russia, it's minus 3.4% because of the war, and Ukraine, it is minus 35%. Now, if I go to US, Canada, it is 3.3%. If you go to United States, 1.6%. If I go to Brazil, it's 2.8%. Can you tell me what is the GDP growth expected in India? Hello, students. Hello. Hello, students. Hello.
Somewhere around 8, sir.
No, 8 because of COVID and this thing. So we are not going into the 8. It's ranging between 6 to 6.8. So currently, I think the last time they mentioned is around 6.3. But of course, the plan for the 2023 is around 6.8%. So this has been downgraded because still from the COVID, we are trying to grow our economy. But as you know, there is a war is happening in the Ukraine war is happening. So Russia and Ukraine, and most important for that, the crude prices has gone up. But of course, now it is coming down. So hovering the crude, the Brent, what we say is the most important price that is measured in the crude prices, right? So it was initially went up very high, but now the crude prices has come down. Still, it is hovering around 76 USD per barrel, right? So because of which our Indian economy, it is affecting a lot. You will get surprised that another most important thing India import is basically the gold, right? So that is a huge amount. Is if it is not used for the productive purpose, what happens? Then it affects your economy. Now, if you are aware, India buys huge amount of jewelry, but India export also huge amount of jewelry. So if you go to the Gujarat area, if you go to around Surat area, you will find a lot of diamond cutting and polishing, small factories or bases are there, which basically import a lot of the diamonds around the world and then resell it around the world at a higher price. So if we are importing, doing some additional work and exporting, then of course we will earn some money. But if we are importing those goods when the prices are very, very high, then it affects our GDP, because GDP is minus imports, export minus imports, right? If our export is more, then it is beneficial to India. But if the export is less and import is more, it will lower our GDP. So you can see now that you are staying in a country, right, which is one of the fastest growing in the world. You will find, if you see all around the world, Sweden is 2.6. UK is now they're already 3.6, but already due to the Ukraine one, they are already, this is a little bit old. You will find that they are facing huge problem. So hardly they are able to grow. So with the crisis that has happened because of this war is the energy crisis. That is another major crisis. Like in Germany, during the winter, they're saying they're going to have some power cuts. Already in UK, some places they're having some power cuts which were never thought of. And with the energy hungry industries are already started running away from Germany. And if those things happens, then you can understand the economy of Europe will come down much, much faster. So energy plays a very, very key and important role also for the growth of the GDP. So any question till now, students? Tell me if you got any questions. Hello, students.
No, sir.
So I hope this was a real interesting story for you. Now, let me show you something else. I'm just trying to give me 2 minutes. I'll just trying to find that. The article I was talking about, just give me 2 minutes. Okay, I got that article. So let me share my screen again. Can you see this article? What is this article talking about? So hello, students. I think. So India can soon experience heat waves and beyond human survival limit. Right? So why this climatic change is happening? Because of the greenhouse effect, because of the emission of carbon dioxide into the air, because we are burning the fossil fuel, isn't it? And you can see this is going to be the temperature. If this temperature happens, what will happen? And this is going to affect all of us, right? Because of this climatic change, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
So that is why it is very, very important to use the renewable energy, use lesser fossil fuels, right? And that is why we will take a session on how IT can play an important role and how the trend and mega trends that are coming up and where I can foresee a lot of you can get huge opportunities, right? So how basically you can reduce the carbon emission, how you can help the growth of the renewable energy, how you can have smart cities, how you can basically help to control the climate. Now, if this happens, right, this will going to affect the longevity of the people. And as you can see, because of the carbon dioxide remains very, very high, right? Life of the people also will come down. The productivity of the people will also come down. Now, just to let you know, when I go to the Middle East or this thing, if it is the temperature goes more than 48 degrees, then they have to call for a national holiday. That means as a whole, productivity loss is happening because people cannot go out and work also. Now, India is, if you can see some of the places almost reaching 48 degree and 46 degree, it is saying it's going to happen, right? And that will also affect the productivity of the people. And here, if you can see the very interesting fact, what I was saying is that up to 75% Indian workforce or 380 million people depend on heat exposed labor, right? So you can see this is basically a life-threatening temperature and which can really affect all of us, right? Now, that is why we need to think for our future. If we do not think that and adopt the technology for the benefit of the future, what will happen? The survivability of us will become a big question, isn't it? So by 2030, India may account for around 34 million of the projected 80 million global job losses also, due to the heat stress associated and productivity decline. So this is very, very critical and very, very interesting topic. And of course, McKinsey has come. McKinsey is one of the topmost leading consulting company, right? So that is also came out with a fact that is the loss of labor from rising heat and humidity could put up to 4.5% of the Indians' GDP, approximately USD 150 to $250 billion at risk at the end of this decade. Now you have understood the GDP, right? But you can see there are some areas of concern, isn't it? If we do not work, then we are also going to get affected. Student, are you with me? Hello, students.
Yes, sir.
So now, who are coming from the north, you know how hot it is. Of course, in Bangalore, weather is fine. So though it's raining, I know somebody may feel it's not good temperature, but those I know, I stayed in north. If it in the hot summer days, right, you cannot go out into the roam around in the city, right, or in your hometown, isn't it? So I'm not going through it. This is basically, as you can see, some of the facts I don't want to mention. So we are going to learn what are the trends and mega trends that are coming up and how it is going to, you need to work and where you can see the opportunities and how you can work on that. Now, I want to have some discussion with you. So regarding this, now you have seen in the GDP for the growth. So just let me know, give me how, as a student, what is your future, what you're thinking that you can help to increase the Indian GDP. I want few interaction with you before I move on to the next topic. Hello, students. Hello, students.
We have to start using our Indian products and make sure that we don't use any foreign products that will decrease our imports.
Okay. So any other person want to give any other views? Now, if you want to start any Indian product, of course, you need to have the technology also, right? Why will you start using Indian product if you find foreign products coming, right? Which is have got much better technology, or for example, you want to use your laptop, right? Still, you will prefer to use an Apple or a Dell laptop. Maybe manufactured, Apple is started manufacturing in India, but still you want to use that. So the quality of our product also need to be increased, isn't it? So that means
yes, sir.
There should be an investment that will need to also go through. Next, anybody, any other person? And that means there's a lot of opportunity for all of you. Okay, anybody next? Any suggestion? How you think want to improve the GDP? Hello, students. Any other views? This is the last this thing before I move on to another very interesting topic. So anybody want to volunteer? Hello, student. Anybody want to volunteer? Okay. So give me 1 minute break and I will come and show the next topic. We'll go to the next topic. Okay. So the next topic is very, very interesting topic. And let me just share my screen and we will go there. Okay, so are you able to see the screen? Hello, students.
Yes, sir.
So the next topic, what we are going to talk about, drones. So you have been hearing about drones, right? So can you tell me what is drones? And I hope all of you know, in case of drones, right? You are basically using what? AI, IoT, and machine learning, isn't it? Yes or no?
Yes, sir.
Right? Now, tell me why basically the drones is going to be for the future. Any idea what is drones and what is your thought process about drones? What do you know about drones? Okay, just to tell you, drones in India in 2021, it was almost $1.2 billion market, almost around 9 to 10,000 Indian rupees. And what we foresee is that in 2022, that is this year, the global market of drones is around $28.47 billion. So as you can see, the drone industry itself is a huge going to provide income generation to all of you also. A lot of opportunities that are going to come up. And you will be surprised to know by 2030, Indian market itself will be from 1.2 billion in 2021 will go to around $40 billion by 2030, right? So you can see a huge opportunities that are coming up. Isn't it, students? Hello, students. Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Right? So what we see is that there are, of course, the civil use of drones was allowed in 2018, right? Then Indian National Counter Drone Policy was guideline in 2019. And of course, the minister has formed the unmanned aircraft system rules in 2020. So government, if you see now currently working on multiple such rules that bring it up so that it encourages the drone industry. And of course, there are some PLI scheme that benefits they're also trying to give it to the drone industry. And you have seen during the war, Azerbaijan and this war, you have the war got changed absolutely using the drone. Armenia, Azerbaijan war, right? So Azerbaijan could win with the what? With the drones supplied by Turkey, Barakat drones. So Barakat drones, Azerbaijan could use against the Armenian armed forces and able to win the war very, very fast. In case of Russia-Ukraine war, you have been seeing that Ukraine was using the Barakat drones from the Turkey. Later on now, of course, Russia using their own drones, plus using the drones they got it from Iran, and that is also now changing the whole scenario in the war. You have seen that some of drone attack in the Jammu airport that happened during this year, and now India is also floated an RFP and also acquired some of the anti-drones measures or anti-drone systems. You will get surprised that big enterprises is also joining this fray into the drone manufacturing, for example, Adani and other groups also. And already India started exporting some of the drones around the world, right? So looking at that, there are huge opportunities that are coming into the drone industry. Now, I move on to the next this thing. So you will be getting surprised in India in Pragati Maidan this year. Our Honorable Prime Minister inaugurated the biggest drone festival in India. That was in May 2022. And also, our Prime Minister interacted with the Kishan drone pilots to witness the open air drone demonstration and interact with the startups and drone exhibition centers. So there are a lot of startups that have started in India who are going to basically work on the drone technology, anti-drone technology, right? So as you can see, there's a huge market that are coming up. And during the 2-day Bharat Drone Mahotsav, more than 1,600 delegates comprising of the government officials, foreign diplomats, armed forces, central armed forces, police forces, PSUs, private companies, and drone startups, etc., participated in this festival, right? And there were more than 70 exhibitors who displayed various kind of drones. So if I see what are the drones in future, the festival comes amid the central government push for extensive use of drones in the fields of including agriculture. So I think maybe you are, I do not know whether some of you are aware or not, government has got a policy called Samimita, I think, scheme, where the survey of the village properties can be done using the drones, right? Similarly, there are also, if you see, there was a, I think Geo has put up a van where basically you can have the medical facilities in the remote places. You can just to showcase as a demo, so that doctors can basically supply using the through the drones the medicine into those areas once they know what kind of medicine is required from the nearby hospitals or pharmaceuticals, right? So where in the remote places the medical assistance can be provided, where it is difficult to send people around there. So those kind of new technologies are also going to come up, which can help and benefit of the people, not only the wars where it is a destruction, but a lot of technologies and drones that, for example, if you see some of the companies like the Amazon and this thing, they are also trying to basically dispatch the goods using the drones, right? Next is the Civil Aviation Minister, Mr. Sindhia, also launched a drone experience during that festival. The state run along with NITI, right? Two policies that are drone Shakti and the Kishan drone for the farmers. And also new federal guidelines for Kishan drone was provision with a range of incentives to the farmers and organizers alike for the commercial use of drones. So you can do basically pesticide, or you can use the survey of the fields, or those things also can be done using drones. Recently, the Union Aviation Minister also said that India will require more than 1 lakh drone pilots in the coming years. So you can see it's not only the drone industry, basically the technology that is required, you will require drone pilots also. So some of you may have got a very good opportunity in running those drones. So whether it is for any survey, or whether it is for defense, or whether it is monitoring, all those things require qualified people to run these drones, because, and then also based on that, analytics can be done, and based on that, proper measures can be taken up. Right. So next to so a lot of basically certification and courses also has been planned during this festival. So as I told you, a lot of PLI scheme has been provided. So as a lot of manufacturers has got interested in manufacturing of the drones and drones related technology. Now you have seen that already HL is also participating in manufacturing a lot of drones for monitoring, and India has got a plan to basically buy a lot of drones from India, and also from the drones from US, like Predator drones, or from Israel drones that they are planning to buy. And a lot of Indian companies, as I told you, are started manufacturing these drones. So that will be required both for civil and for defense areas. Now, I was talking about Adani Group has made a joint venture with an Israeli company, Elbit, and large companies like Idleforge and other manufacturing companies were selected beneficiaries for the PLI scheme. So there are a lot of beneficiaries where the government is going to provide some incentives, and so that they can start the manufacturing as soon as possible, so that it will provide a lot of employment to the Indians. Okay, so now coming to this, so there are multiple, as you can see here, drones can be used. Now, it can be either be in case of the, as I told you, medical or emergency. It can be security, it can be agriculture, or it can be environment monitoring, environment management, urban planning, real estate, architecture, media communications, business and commerce, entertainment, recreation. You can see nowadays a lot of marriages happens, right? You will find that basically nano or small drones that are being used to take the photographs, isn't it, students? Now, what are the types of drones are there? So just to let you know, there are around 5 types of drones, what we say: nano drones, which is less or equal to 250 grams; micro drones, which are from 250 grams to around 2 kg; small, that is 2 kg to 25 kg; medium is from 25 kg to 150 kg; and large, which are greater than 150 kg. You will be getting surprised that the first nano and micro drones, you don't require a license, but for the others, you require a license. Now, government also has framed policies, and based on which, yes, somebody will ask a question. Yeah, tell me. Hello. Yes, tell me. Any question? So there are basically green zone, yellow zone, and red zone. Of course, in the red zone, you cannot fly any drones. And in the yellow zone, so it has been reduced from, I think it was 45 kilometers from the airport perimeter. It was there. Now it has been reduced to around 12 kilometers. And of course, there are some restrictions that you cannot fly your drones over 400 feet. And also some restriction during the yellow zone, that is, that you cannot fly more than, I think, 200 feet in those zones also. Right. So as you can see, there are new policies are coming up so that it will benefit the individuals and also the companies to venture out into the drone industry. Okay, so let me, you can give me some, this is basically some of the uses. It is, don't think this is the exhaustive. So many things are coming up for the drones, just to give you some around 40 uses of drones, what I'm saying, but it can be much, much more other in case of drones that are coming up. So you want to say anything on this? Let's be interactive. I've been talking. Hello, students. So give me an example where you think a drone can play an important role.
Defense.
Yeah, tell me.
Defense, defense.
Defense is one of the things. Good. So defense, we are seeing the whole change the way now the fighting is going on, right? They don't want to the human loss. They are basically using the drones where they're firing missiles from the drones, where you can see some of the drones like Predator drones or some of the drones that are there, which can fly more than good amount of distance, hundreds of kilometers. There are some drones, small drones, which just go and go to the enemy, this thing, where they can go and bomb and come back. And there are kamikaze drones, these are basically self-destructive drones. They find the target and then they go and dive into that target and get the whole destroyed, right? Loitering drones are there. Loitering drones is basically roam around that area, and when they find the target, they can see the target, they deep dive into the target, and then they basically ignite themselves and explode there. So of course, that is used in the defense, but there are other areas also where the drones are being used, where the drones basically help the human
Health sector, sir.
Pardon?
Health sector.
Yeah, health sector is very good. So can you give me an example on the health sector?
Sir, carrying the blood or heart from one place to other.
Very good. Now, if you think of a traffic, right? If a traffic is there, if you if you want to get a blood or basically any important drugs, medicine, right? It will take a lot of time. But if you use a drone, it can be delivered much, much faster, and you can save the life. Very good example. Now, any other? Let me give you one example also. Pardon?
Agricultural fields for spraying pesticides and all.
Yes, that is also very good. Now, let me just show you one more. I hope I have got this. 1 minute. Show you 1 minute. 1 minute, I'll show you. Let me just find it up. 1 minute. I prepared a case study for you. Just 1 minute. Give me a minute. Let me just share my screen. Okay, let me share my screen now. Are you able to see my screen? So this is actual fact, right? Where Graham Construction, right? What they got an order to construct a road in a terrain which was absolutely very, very rocky and tough area around. They got the order for 130 million pound. It's a UK-based company. Now, what they find is that if they use helicopter or this thing, that will be quite costly. And also what they find, if you want, I will forward this case study to you also later on. Now you can, so if they go and it will take a lot of time also. As you know, when you get a contract also, you need to construct that road or whatever you're doing within the time period, or otherwise penalty will be charged to you. Right? So what they did, they thought of basically taking a drone where they can use the drone to capture picture and analyze that part, and using that they can save a lot of time, right? So what they did, they basically use kind of a drone, and for example, the drone, what they did, it was flying almost 10 minutes, right? And after that, you can see as per this, I'll show you. Right, so it was only flying for 10 minutes and they taking all the picture, then they're analyzing it. And of course, they can understand how basically the construction, the terrain of that, they're getting the pictorial basically picture, and based on that help them to much faster do the construction and at a lesser cost, and they can fly it as many times as possible. And otherwise, as you know, if you have to take a helicopter or this thing, go and see the whole terrain and this thing, it will used to cost huge amount of money. Okay, so you can see this is basically a beneficial where this is actual fact, the case study where the drone was used for basically construction of the road, where they can using the drone, they can take the pictorial pictures and analyze it and construct based on that. Okay, any question from anybody? Hello, students.
No, sir.
So can you give me some more examples? So you can see that you can do the survey of your agricultural fields. So now, for example, you know, not only that, if you want to have a tractor, right, you would need to know how much of basically agricultural field and where you can use the tractor to get the maximum benefit to increase the production of your crop, or whether how far is the river or the pond or where the water is available. And based on that, you can calculate how much is the cost of getting this water to your field. Just giving some examples. So you have seen that during the marriages, you have seen the pictures taken using the drones, right? So giving the aerial, you can see the, like, for example, if you go and watch IPL or this thing, they use the drone technology where they from the aerial, they're taking some pictures, isn't it? So for the, if you go to the defense, like what they're doing, they're using the aerial drones to monitor the surveillance has been done. So any other example you want to give? Hello, students. So if you are not giving examples, next week we're going to have basically an assignment from you. That is next Sunday at 10 a.m. You are going to create an assignment, that is, you have to create a model of a drone. And similarly, it will be minimum 3, maximum 5. And this is only good for you. You can show me a presentation, what you're planning, or if you can create a model, you can show me that. And how your drone, what is the delivery mechanism, how you want to deliver your drone, right? And what is the benefit of your drone is going to do, and you need to provide on this, right? So I want to see what is your out-of-box thinking, what your drone can do. So this is basically an assignment for you in the next Sunday, that is on 18th, 10 a.m. in the morning. And we will have discussion on this. Okay. Now you tell me any questions you're having. Hello, students. So please form your team and please give it by Wednesday to Harilakshmi ma'am or Shweta ma'am, the name of your team. So minimum you can have 3, maximum you can have 5. And I want all of you to participate. So last time I see some of you have really done fantastic and some of you did not got support from your team. So team members, please help your team. Please participate proactively so that you can create a very good presentation or a demo. Right? Any question? Hello, students. Do you have got any questions now?
No,
Sir,
sir.
it's PPT presentation, right?
Yeah, PPT presentation, but like some of you did some coding, but if you can create some kind of a drone and show it to me at a model, that will be great. But if you cannot do it, don't worry. You can do it maybe at next month. You can show it to me, right? So at least you can think through, you can work through on that area also. But next week, at least you should need to do a PPT presentation. But try to think of a model also, how you are going to create that drone and what is your drone going to do a benefit. For example, if you think of a survey drone, or if your drone, you want to use it for delivering some goods, just think through. Okay, so this will be one of your assignment. Any question on the assignment? So start forming your team. I want all of you to participate, because this is only going to help you only. So I know a lot of you have got very good thought process or out of box thinking. I want to see that. What is your thought process? How you're going to create that drone and how your drone will work. At least you prepare a PPT slide, and that model you can create maybe till next month, not a problem. Okay, any question? Hello, students.
No, sir.
Okay, good. So now I was talking last session regarding a case study that is basically Harley Davidson case study, if you remember. Now, what happened? There was Sabyasachi in New York City. Now, what he was only has got a dealership of this Harley Davidson bike. So, how many of you know about the Harley Davidson bike? Hello, students.
Yes, sir.
So, who are basically like bikes, right? They know of HD, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Very good. Now he was only able to sell one or two bike, right? Then one day he was walking around the riverside in a park. Then he made one person called Sunny, who is basically a CEO of an AI firm nearby. Okay. Now he was talking to him. See, my what is happening? I'm only able to sell one or two bike in a week. You have got an AI firm. What AI can do for me? Like that, he was just creeping and talking and walking around with him, doing morning walk. Then he said, why don't you come to my office, right? And let's discuss what I can do for you. And I can show you the power of AI. He said, okay, let's go. So what happened? He went there to his office, and then he sat with him, explaining what are the things they're doing. It's almost for a week. And then Sunny suggested to try and add Go rhythm that is basically based on the AI, a kind of a tool, so that he can use this to increase his sales. Let me just take you to that case study now. I hope this will be interesting for you. So again, this is another case study, right? And you can see what has happened, right? His actually sales increased by 2930%. Can you see the percentage growth? Now, how he did it? Let me go to the PPT. Some problem with my mouse. My mouse is not moving. Let me go to the PPT. I think I was talking about let me go to the Harley Davidson case study, which was I talking about. Let me just show you. Yep. So Harley Davidson increased by how much? Lead by 300%, 2,930%, and how they did it. So what happened? As you can see, he basically tried to create kind of an algorithm based on the like people who are visiting there, right? To check based on the questions, and also going to the multiple social media in the advertisement, how much time they're spending. Now, those people who are spending, what is their credibility, and how much is the net worth, and how much is this time they're spending on this. So based on that, they created some kind of a leads and using the AI engine. And based on the AI engine, once then they started calling those people, and of course the sales increased by a good amount. Then basically, rather than saying sell, he started saying call us for, and then the people started calling. Then they started monitoring that how many people are basically going to the site and how many people are calling them, how many time is spending time on this advertisement, and how many people are in the social media going to the sites when they fill the form, and what is the percentage, whether they're more than 25% of those people, multiple forms they're filling based on the AI again, whether they're purchasing those goods or not. So they started filtering also the number of people who are doing that based on this algorithm logic tool, and they started calling. And his business started increasing so fast that he has to basically hire almost 6 person in his call center to take their calls. And slowly, from selling 1 or 2, that his sale increased by multiple times. So you can see the power of AI, right? And machine learning, based on that, he was able to create an algorithm and a tool which basically Jacobi could use and increase his sale of his HD bikes, right? Yes, student. Any question? Hello, students.
No, sir.
So you can see that if you, for example, you want to be entrepreneur, you want to be a budding entrepreneur, right? It is not only that you need to go and work in a company. You can start your own ventures like Sunny, right? What he did, where he's helped and able to build his business. Similarly, if you want to have your own business, right? Or you want to work on some enterprises, now you need to think out of the box what you can do. You are all learning technical things on the coding and all those things, right? But how you can adopt that as in the business, and how you can help others to increase their business is basically going to differentiate you from others, right? Yes, student.
Yes, sir.
So I'm trying to give you some perspective. What are the trends, mega trends happening? Also trying to tell you what are the things or case studies around the world which are happening. And you can see how this helped Jacobi to increase his sales, right? So any question? Yes, students, any questions?
No, sir.
No, sir.
Okay. Let me now be a little bit more interactive. I've been talking a lot, right? I want all of you to speak and provide some of the areas where you see using AI and ML. What are the opportunities that can be created? I want you to provide me some of your thoughts. And please come on camera so that I can see you, and you can also provide your thoughts. And let the other of your friends also come to know some of your thoughts. Yes. Who want to volunteer and come and speak about the things you think that can be done? Yes, student. See, I want you to be more interactive. If I'm talking and I'm not getting from your side any inputs. For example, in this case study, can you see this one? In case of Amazon, Facebook, Google, what they're doing, they're all into AI, right? Isn't it?
Yes, sir.
Now, what they're doing, whenever you go to those sites, whenever you visit that, they try to figure it out, which are the products you want to see, which are the basically advertisement, or which are the products you're spending more time. Next is that whether you are going to buying those products or not. They also keep a survey. For example, you go and to and see a laptops, right? Now, after seeing 4 or 5 laptops, you buy a laptop. That means you look into those laptops and you're buying. But somebody, there are people who do window shopping. So if the people who does window shopping, then at least they can, from the history, they can find it out. That means to get and call them for new initiatives or for new products may not result much. But who are spending, if I call them, that means I can get more business out of them. I'm just talking about this case study. So it is not using AI. What I'm doing the analytics, right? So that is another area where you can see a lot of scope are there. So for this, there are a lot of scope for data scientists, data mining. Now, there are also scope for, as you can see, using this, the process automation you can do. You can do, for example, there are multiple tools that are available in the industry. If you know, Celonis is one tool. You for automation, you can use Blue Prism, AI Path, right? Of course, some of the tools like ServiceNow, it can be used. There are ERPs like SAP, Oracle ERP, right? So there are new things that are coming up that uses basically ML and AI, right? Using that, all the repetitive work can be reduced and less of human touch is required, and using the AI, a lot of work can be done by the product itself. Right? Now, you can do the monitoring, you can do the governance, you can do the risk management, the process control management. All those things is possible when you have a product you have developed, and you can use the AI to monitor that. You can use the machine learning. You can use basically the data mining. You can use the analytics to help into have much better result, and those things help you in the user friendliness of those products. Now, for example, if you want to create a drone, right? In create a drone, if it is basically, you will find now Russia is not able to use the Iran-made drone because of the winter, or maybe due to you will find the drones which is need to supply basically your material Amazon from one place to another. If it is basically very having a lot of rains or storms, the drones may not be able to use. Now, how you can then, because the connectivity from the monitoring center to those drones may not be available. Now, if I build some artificial intelligence into that drone, then you don't always require to interact with your monitoring center. The drones itself, you can use the AI. Using the AI can govern itself and go to the place, dedicated place, deliver the goods or do the survey and come back, isn't it? Hello, students. Hello, students. Any question?
No, sir.
You have another thing, if you see regarding the AI, for example, I will talk more on the drones now because you have got an assignments. Of course, tomorrow's session, when I'm going to take, it will be a different topic altogether. But if you have got any questions you want to ask on drones, you can absolutely let me know. But I thought, let me just, if you have got any questions on drones, because I've got some more minutes before I go to the another topic. Tomorrow will be another interesting topic we are going to discuss. So any question on drones?
Sir, by making a model, what do you mean?
If you can just try to create kind of a model of drone, for example, if you want to create a survey drone, right? Now you can have a camera, small camera, and you can try to fly it using a motor, maybe some battery, and take a picture of your college campus, right? If you can think through just a demo model, if you can create, or just your thought process, because you need to think through what can be done. So this is, I know that is in 1 week you cannot do it, but I'm just keeping it for maybe next month, that is 1.5 months, that is end of next month. If you can think through and create some kind of a demo or prototype. I will say not a demo, I will say a prototype if you can create as a team.
Okay, sir. No, I was asking because we were having sessions. The second session was going to happen soon. So that's why I asked.
Yeah, so just think through if you can create some kind of prototype, a small prototype. If you can think through, if you can create something, that will be great.
Okay, sir. Thank you.
Yeah, but this session on Sunday will be I'm not looking for a prototype because it's very, very short time. I also agree. I want PPT presentation and your thought process, whatever you're creating, your thought process, right?
Okay,
So
sir.
whatever your thoughts coming out of this when you're presenting, and I will request all the teachers here, L2 teachers also, please communicate to all the students, let them, all of them participate. It is not about a competition. It is basically helping each other so that they also learn from other students about their out of box thinking and also the presentation. Because I've seen last time you have really done very, very good. And of course, few of them was not got support from your own team members. So please tell them it is not a competition. It is good for them because it is allowing you to participate, interact, and tell about your knowledge to the others, right? Your thought process. So all of you has got different thought process. So I want you, all of you, to speak and walk you through your presentation. So don't create too many people in your team, because if a team has got 10 or 20 people, others will not get a chance to talk. So that's why I'm saying 3 is the ideal, 3 to 5 is the best team, so that you can, all of you can coordinate, because for this you need a team effort, right? So the team building also will happen and you just come and do the presentation. There are also basically, for example, if you see some of the times the drones are used for monitoring also, and also for facial recognition, whether the person has intruded into one place or not, or if you see in the areas in case of near the border where it is not possible for the person to go and check all those areas.
Sorry, Sabyasachi, I am entering in. Sir,
Yes, sir.
I am entering in. This is the course director. It seems you had some problem. I just received a note from Harinakshi. Today being, sir, some weatheric problem, I think
Yes,
I
sir.
got a note, and Ashwin and Shweta also confirmed that some students are unable to join due to some internet issue. But sir, you continue with the session. The recording, I suppose, is being done. And in case the students want to, still upgrade themselves, they can go through the recording, sir. No problem. So don't cancel the session. You continue with the session, sir.
Sure, sir. Sure. Thank you,
Right,
sir.
sir. Because I was I was just got a red flag now that it seems students are not there. Then Ashwin and Shweta told me that it seems there is a weatheric problem and a lot of people are not able to join due to the internet issue. So that is one of the major issues. But sir, you continue. And Shaijan sir also told that there is an internet issue. So sir, you continue, no problem. If the students want to know anything, sir, they can go through the recording. They can take it from Harinakshi.
Sure,
They can
sir.
take it from Ashwin, Shweta and Harinakshi. Shaijan sir can coordinate with them. Right, sir?
Yes, sir.
Right. Right, sir. Right. All the best, sir. All the best.
Thank you, sir. Yeah, so we were talking about this and you know the assignments also. So let me know if you've got any questions or this thing.
Sir, so for this Sunday, we need to present just for a normal PPT presentation, right?
Yes, yes,
For
yes,
based
yes.
on that.
Yes.
And after that, for 1.5 months, we need to present a prototype of what we are supposed to make a drone, like new drones, right?
Yeah, just try to prototype, right? So that will help. Basically, that will kind of a practical thing you can do and you can showcase to me, right? So that is, so now, as you know, today is only 10th of December. So I'm giving up to 31st of January. So it's almost around 40, almost 50 days, right? So you can think through, if you can create, that will be good. So if you can, it will be also help you to, as you know, once you start working on any prototype of this thing, you will face some challenges. How you want to overcome those challenges. And your L2 teachers will also guide you so that you can take their guidance also in building that.
So we can create our own teams, right? Like our team consists of 20 members, so we can cut short the team members and like to make a group of like 5 or 4 members.
Yeah, so that's why I'm saying don't make it more than 5. The problem is the more than 5, then the presentation, when you are coming in a presentation, then others are not presenting. Only the very few people. I want all of you to participate. That's all. So I want all of you to participate. That's why I'm saying 3 to 5 people you create. Generally prefer not more than 5, because if you make more than 5, then others are basically not able to present and they are just going to do a supporting actor role. I want all of you to be main actors. You got it?
Yes, I got it. Thank you, sir.
Right. So this is basically some of the thought process I have, because more and more you need to have exposures, more and more presentation you do, that will be good for you. So that whatever your potential, that will start coming up. Because just to give you an example, when I was studying in Cambridge, right? So there used to be more of practical part was there. Just to give an example, they give us egg, and they told that egg you will drop it from 9 feet and use basically a mechanism that it will not drop. And they give me only some papers and they give me some sellotapes, right? And using that, and also they give some small threads. That's all. Using that, you got 15 minutes, you prepare, and we were basically, there was 6 teams and each were of 5 members. So 30 people were there. And they told us you drop it from 9 feet and they should not be broken. Basically, if you kind of think of a drone coming and delivering it to your house, right? They will come and drop. They will not come to your hand and drop it. Now, if it like a drone coming and dropping into your house, if it is like an egg, it should not fall and be broken, right? So we need to think out of the box how we can do it. And we have only got paper, and the paper, if you use, it has to be also list cost. I'm not coming into those complexities. Each paper you use is a 5 pound, and of course the sellotape and the small thread they have given, that is as much as you can use, not a problem. But the more paper you use, your cost will go up. So we need to think through, build it, and after 15 minutes, we have to go and show it to our professor and dropping it from the 9 feet each of that was dropped. So this kind of practical experience or this thing always helps. That is my thought process. Because when you go to the industry, when you start working, right, you will be more into practicals. Your theories, of course, will help you, but the more is the exposure you get about the practicals, that will really help you, right? So let me know if you've got any questions. Do you have any questions?
No, sir.
So maybe if I don't have any questions, let me just show you a small video so that you know what happens into the international conferences and this thing. Let me check if I can show that video to you. One minute, let me just.
One of the most common.
Just 1 minute. Otherwise, I will search and just 1 minute. Yeah, I will show you now. So let me share my screen. Okay, let me share my screen and I hope you'll be able to see my screen, right?
Yes, sir.
See. So this is how really this is available on YouTube. You can see here how to which it can be done. Demonstration. So he is basically the ex-finance minister of France, ex-Harvard professor, and currently he is basically the European Commission commission. Very welcome. 2019, not an award. It is how in the world, basically, 12 players up to Madrid Stadium, right? So just to give you one high-level thought process, that there are so many things that are happening around the world, right? So, and technology is advancing so much, and there are huge scope for all of you to participate and work. So when you do kind of a presentation, it is basically you are going to be that whatever insight from you that will come out, and also your whatever your thought process out of box thinking that will also come out. So try and do prepare yourself. Please give your names to Harilakshmi ma'am and Sweta ma'am by this Wednesday, right? So I hope again we will talk tomorrow. So if you have got any questions, please let me know. So have a nice Saturday. Thank you, everybody.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.